These crypto altcoins are like shaking us right now. Buy me, right? They're flashing a bunch of signals that I'm going to present to you today. Now, I believe these altcoins in these three very distinct areas of the market are likely going to absorb most of the demand that comes into crypto next. I want you to pay attention because Altseason has only just begun and we're likely going to be here for the next few months. Importantly, the things we look at on this channel is ways to make you the most money possible, right? Receive the most reward in the safest possible way. So in saying that, these areas, these coins are safe, secure, with a little bit of risk, but of course that might come with potentially higher reward. Guys, all I ask in return to explaining this information to you today is to hit that like button the minute that you go, I quite like that. Thank you very much. And also subscribe. It's right next door to the like button. It goes a long way. Thank you very much. Let's begin. It's very important before you buy your altcoins, guys, that you understand that you need to buy the altcoins in the right areas. There are going to be areas of the market that gain a little bit of traction, and there's going to be some that gain a lot of traction when the attention moves to that area. Okay, so I've got three of those powerful narratives today, and I want to give you just some indication of what I'm talking about here. CoinMarketCap plots out some of these generalized market caps for all of the coins in the different areas or niches of the market. Now, this right here is AI coins. And we can see over the last month, it went from a 34 billion market cap. I'll move my big head for you here. And now it's currently sitting at a 70 billion market cap. It gained $40 billion in 1 month. We can have a look as well at real world assets. These guys went up from about a 30 billion market cap and they're now sitting at an astonishing 66 billion. So it over 2x its overall market cap. We have a look at layer 1 altcoins as well. This is a little bit skewed, but right now it's just under $1 trillion. There's a lot of money sitting in layer 1 projects. And to give you some idea here of those popular narratives versus say one that's doing okay is gaming. Okay, so gaming we all know is likely going to do quite well. But as of right now, it's not growing at the same pace as these other narratives, which means these other three narratives could be the next to pump. For example, $18 billion over the last month is now the $35 billion. A lot of these other areas have had over the market cap all in gaming right now, added on top of their previous market cap in the last month. We can also track this as well in the private community. I'm actually looking to really enhance this sheet here over the coming few weeks here. But right now, this gives us a good indication in terms of what areas of the market basically people are deciding to put their money into next. And we can see here, meme coins have taken a bit of a break. They're actually down about 200% relative strength. And we're seeing that sort of move into AI, DePIN, mainly Web3 layer 1 coins, and also real world asset tokenization coins. Again, gaming isn't too far behind, but as of right now, it's clear to me that we have 3/4 very popular areas of the market, and that's what I want to look into today. I want to look into the areas where, again, what the data is telling us, what the on-chain stats are saying right now, people are looking to put their money into. Imagine catching the meme pump like 6 months ago. You would have made tons of money on this. That's what I'm trying to do here. Given that this is likely going to be what many people expect this cycle to look like, rather than the previous cycle, we had like that sort of double top moment. It's likely going to be more like 2018, where we have one massive blow up top. And I think we're roughly speaking about here right now in the grand scheme of things. We've seen some gains, but nothing like what we're about to see in the next coming months here. These work in cycles. We'll have a bunch of interest in AI coins, like we've seen right now in the current times. We're seeing a lot of Dino coins have their attention, or Web 2 utility coins, okay? And we're likely going to see, again, the next few narratives here probably be really explosive, because that's likely when it'll catch on to most of the market being explosive as well. So I believe what couple, 2, 3, or 4 narratives comes next will likely be the largest we'll see in the cycle overall. Now, there's a big misconception out there that, hey, Web 2 Dino coins have pumped now, so this is the Web 2 Dino coin narrative we're in right now, that these coins are going to be high performers of the bull run for the next 6 to 12 months. But you're wrong, okay? They will likely, again, perform a little bit better from here still. But if you're looking for a 5 or a 6x on some of the coins like Hedera, HBAR, and all the rest of it, you are likely a FOMO buyer. Okay, you've probably bought in, HBAR at like 20 cents, for example, or XRP or XLM, and they will definitely fall down at some point in time. It's just how the market works. Don't hate the player, hate the game. All right, I'm just trying to tell you how it is. So what I say is, do not get cocky. Just because they were the first narrative to pop off, they were an early narrative like DeFi was in the last cycle. We all know how that went for DeFi coins after DeFi summer. It never recovered from their highs, basically. That you think somehow that these coins are going to be around for the next 6 to 12 months and continue going higher and higher. I mean, they possibly could, but history says they won't. So don't get cocky. Remember to take some profit and keep moving forward. So within each of these narrative pumps, money flows around a certain way. And you guys probably know this as the Altseason money flow chart. Okay, so money flows into large caps. I believe the new way the money flow chart will work this time is the large caps will sort of give us an idea of a narrative, and from the narratives, it'll pump into other large caps in that narrative and then move to mid and micro caps. So in this Dino Pump narrative, of course, the reason that these coins have pumped up so much is because we had the change in administration in the US and a big push for a change of legislation over there as well, pro-crypto legislation, of course. So this meant that the coins that were like focused on utility here had a bit of a reason to pump. What that meant was coins like Hedera pumped first. They created the narrative. They created this, hey, we're going to like change the world type narrative. And then in this time when HBAR went from about 4 or 5 cents up to about 13, 14 cents, so basically 3x'd, we had coins like in the mid-cap area, reserve rights, pretty much do nothing. And then towards the tail end of this, right, the next massive pump where HBAR went from like 13 cents, like 30 cents, we saw reserve rights go from about like 0.009 cents and way up to about 0.03 cents, right? So it did a fair decent multiple. And then we had even smaller coins, the micro caps of the Web2 narrative coins, kind of chop around. They did perform a little bit here, but of course, the large caps and the mid caps will always outperform the micro caps. The micro caps are always a bit of a shot in the dark. So the reason I'm sort of mentioning this, guys, is it's, again, that's sort of playing out in real time. It's that sort of waterfall effect within the narratives playing out, which is why I will focus on this video and most of the videos up until late in the bull run on the large caps to like high mid caps, because you run a gamble with the micro caps, no matter how quality they look and seem. You will always be far better off buying the large to mid caps that are like certainly going to between 10x to 5x, non-financial advice, of course, versus the micro caps, they could 50x, but they could maybe only even 3 or 4x. So you're running a very big gamble. So not right now. I think that's a bit silly right now to go full micro cap degen mode. So speaking about narratives and the next narratives to pump and showing you the growth in some of these narratives, like what are the definitive narratives that I am looking at next? Starts off with AI DePIN. AI and DePIN are two different narratives, but actually if we find the coins that are at the top of the game in both of these areas, that's a win-win. And they are the power duo of the bull run. They do work together, believe that or not. So the coins I'm looking at here are going to be Render, Injective, ASI or FET, and also Flux for a mid-cap and Aethir for another mid-cap. Now I'm going to give you guys my estimations here on the low market cap and the high market cap growth. So low market cap obviously being, this is where I believe, non-financial advice, of course, I'm pretty certain these coins will at least go to. Okay, so for Render, that's 50 billion market cap, and I have recalibrated their prices here for future dilution as well. So we're looking at worst case, likely these prices will be even better than this because I see these coins again popping off next. Like I showed you guys at the very start, I think that these coins here pop off really in the most explosive parts of the bull run. I guess you guys can screenshot this. I'm not going to go over each one in detail. I did spend a fair bit of time on this, of course. Now, when it comes to actually exiting these coins, and this is the most important thing that you have to focus on right now, buying's easy, holding's easy, selling is the hardest part where most people go wrong, is looking at actually getting out in liquid zones. And as many of you guys know, I've provided a lot of material in the private community to help you guys do this. I've got a sheet here, the GGR zone sheet. You might type in Aerodrome Finance. It comes out with the current price, the price prediction based on data and my own subjective opinion as well. And then it tells you what zone you have to roughly get out at to be safe. You can push your luck, of course. That's absolutely fine. And all price predictions are possibly subject to change positively or negatively. But as of right now, as it stands, $10 is the liquid zone max for a coin like Aerodrome. And again, you want to then use this information to go and actually use another sheet I have in the private community here, the exit portfolio tracker. And then you can obviously track your portfolio here and get out at these levels, right? This is an example of what this looks like, making sure we're getting our cost basis back plus some profit before our main sell levels hit to again get out of the coin with the max possible gains in the safest way. I want to actually give you some of the reasons why I've picked these coins, because again, it's like anyone can just tell you about like 5 or 6 AI DePIN coins that they like. I've picked these because they don't just hit a broad range of these sort of narratives. Like, for example, with Injective. Injective is actually more so an AI coin, not a DePIN coin, but it also is a layer 1 coin as well. We saw before that layer 1 coins were doing quite well. And also, this is a DeFi coin as well. So you're hitting a large net. Even technically, it's a real-world asset coin as well because they've indexed the build all fund anyway. So, we're looking at like kind of casting a wide net here. So it just gives this coin more of a reason to inch up over the course of time, which is why it's doing well. Now, when it comes to AI coins, I think some of the most important things to look at here are definitely social engagements. A lot of these projects all have AI in them, right? So that anyone can slap AI in their name and in their website, and most coins do this because, again, it's the big narrative of the bull run. So looking at actually whether or not other people agree with the quality of the coin comes into lunacrush.com. You can actually come on this website here and have a look at the engagements. This aggregates engagements from Twitter, YouTube, Reddit, and all the rest of it. And Render here doing just fine. It chops and changes, but importantly, there is a very big evangelist community around Render. Evangelism is very important in crypto because it creates a cult, if you will. That's why meme coins do very well. If you have a group of people who are solely driven on pushing the coin always and ever, YouTube and Twitter, or both, that's obviously going to create more buzz consistently. It's free marketing for these coins, and that creates more buzz. So you want to also have a look at projects like Injective as well, or ASI, where they have community pages as well, either official or unofficial, where they are just simply posting every day or twice or three times a day. It's more informal, where they can kind of just like talk about the project. You want to look for this. You also want to look for projects like Injective that name their audience, right? The ninjas, if you will. So this creates, again, that community, evangelists bring in new money and all the rest of it. So I think by far AI coins definitely benefit from this. But like every coin in crypto, I've established this in the bear market, guys. Pumpermentals is the most important thing. Obviously, community is a big part of Pumpermentals, but by far, again, narratives, which I've already given you the answers to anyway, right? These coins are in 3 or 4 massive narratives. And the meme, the uniqueness, what separates itself. I've done my research. That's why I talk about these coins. But again, as for AI coins, this is where you can really focus on to really find the unique projects here. The next narrative is real world assets. As you saw before, these have gained a lot of market cap over the last month. And my picks here range from a very, very large coin, which is, of course, Chainlink. This is a much safer project. Of course, when looking at getting your multiples, Chainlink is one of the safer picks. We have Ondo, we have Aerodrome, barely considered, maybe I would not even consider it a real world asset coin, but we can loosely add it to this list. We also have Clearpool, and one I've never mentioned before, which is Morpho. I'm looking more into Morpho recently. You might even see some content out on the channel about this project. It's got some insane stats. So of course, screenshot this as well if you're looking at some of these coins. Again, I'm not a genie. I don't know exactly when the low lows or the very high tops will sort of be. So these ranges and these prices, again, are where I'm kind of sitting at right now for my own personal predictions. Again, anything could happen, all right? It is a market. Some of these coins could blow way past these. Some of these coins might not make it to the lower side of these based on some negative or overly positive news. Again, anything can happen. If you are static, if you aren't liquid like water, always looking to be malleable, you are unfortunately a very bad investor. No one ever takes bad or good market information on board and chooses to ignore it and have blinders on. That's silly. Now, we can have a look at these coins in the lens of what makes them quality, but have a look at on-chain stats. Of course, DeFi, real-world assets, these are the coins where we have a clear indication of what makes them good. It's what they're doing right now on chain. So of course we can come to websites like rwa.xyz and have a look at Ondo over here, smashing their particular niche for tokenization of US treasuries and all the rest of it. These guys are ahead of the herd. Revenue's a big sign as well, right? We see Aerodrome over here always within the top 15, 20 coins in the whole entire crypto space for overall generating revenue. You can see here in the last 180 days, they generated $135 million. And it's also important to look at where they send that money. All that money for Aerodrome goes back to the token holders. Now, it's important as well to have a look at these coins if they aren't their standalone layer 1 projects and see how much TVL they have on the overall network. So again, Aerodrome here is on base. Morpho is on base as well. And of course, if it's a DeFi protocol or a real world asset protocol on like some very, very small layer 1, like Chili's, for example, here, let's just say with 17 million TVL, and it has like, let's say 50% TVL, it's still not that good. If Morpho was a Chili's based RWA coin and it had like, let's say $10 million in TVL, that sounds great. It's like over half, but at the same time, there's not much attention on the layer 1 itself. So therefore there won't be much attention on that project. Obviously a very important point as well is looking at the TVL. You can see here for a coin Morpho, the one that I picked in the RWA space over here, I'm looking more and more into this coin, but the TVL is incredible for this project, right? It's at $3 billion in TVL. TVL right now, yet the market cap's 10 times smaller than that. It's a 300 mil market cap. That historically is a sure tell way to know if the coin's going to be doing well in the future or not. If TVL is increasing like this and price hasn't caught up, in my opinion, it is a matter of time. As I said, fees and revenue as well. We can come to DeFi Llama and have a look at this as well. You type in Morpho up here, you simply click fees and revenue. Obviously, the more fees, the more revenue it's creating, the better, especially if that goes back to token holders. You want to also have a look at their funding amounts. Morpho here, $68 million in funding, and funding not just from any old VC, funding from the best in the world. We're talking about Pantera, IOSG, Fembushi, Coinbase, A16Z, all of which are S-tier investors. Now, the last thing I'll say about looking into these particular coins, also have a look at the token holders. You can have a look at this on their contract address. With Morpho particularly, you might be scared and shocked to see that one particular address holds 79% of the supply. This is a project verified entity, which means that these are some of the remaining tokens to be released via contracts. So that just obviously holds all the contracts. Other than that, everything else is quite decentralized. So you can find this sort of stuff very, very quickly. And a big shout out to Not Telling on Twitter for actually giving me the heads up on this coin. The last narrative is layer one coins, in my opinion, guys. This is like the most consistent performing narrative in crypto out of any other narrative in history. Yeah, it doesn't yield the most gains ever in the world, but it's consistent. And this also adds a sort of benchmark base for many projects in the space to have a big tick in terms of gaining multiples, and allows them to tack on other narratives as well, like Near Protocol. All right, Near is an AI coin, account abstraction, data availability, does a whole bunch of other things, but of course it's always going to be known as a layer one coin, which means it'll always provide steady growth. The same applies for ICP, which is one of my picks here. The same applies for Mina. This is a ZKP project, and the same here for a very new layer one coin, which is Flare Network. No mid caps on this, definitely no small caps. Like I said, these are the predictions I see these four coins going to, roughly speaking. Anyway, again, my exact predictions are going to be in the private community. Now, when researching layer one coins, the most important thing you should have to look at here is this, the layer one flywheel. This tells you how these layer ones aren't just created, but also how they're able to sustain themselves and begin to get better over time. This is the most important part for this bull run, which is bringing on developers, bringing on an ecosystem, which then brings in the end user, the utility for the community. This last part here, you can get away with for a period of time, but this is what really drives the price up to insane levels. So again, having a look at this, pretty much all is summarized in the Pumpermentals research plan. These three are the most important. What narrative it's in? Check. What's the meme? Well, I've done the hard work for you here. Again, go and do some more research on these projects, but again, I've picked these for a solid reason. Check. The community. What makes them unique? Well, again, I've checked this as well, all right? The tokenomics and the team from here are just simply trying to poke holes in the ship. They just need to be okay. If they're bad, that will impact the quality of the coin, therefore the fundamentals. If they're good or mediocre, there's not much to talk about. That's fine. From here, of course, you want to have a look at the actual project. Again, make sure that there is money being staked in the network. And in the case of Near Protocol, that's their Explorer. We can see 572 million Near staked, which means it's a good thing. That's about half of the total supply is locked up, which means people like you and me have a lot of our money invested in securing the network, which means we have confidence in the project. Also, again, just like we had with RWA tokenization coins, we want to have a look at a TVL as well. This is an indication of the ecosystem in play. Like I said before, third-party developers create applications or utility. The end users stake. The end users provide, TVL, if you will, locked up tokens in the ecosystem, and we can gauge this here in the TVL. So an increase of TVL with Near Protocol, they have had a 65% increase in their TVL over the last month. It's not an amazing high amount of TVL, but they're gaining, and they're gaining fast, which is, again, a very good sign to see the ecosystem is beginning to shine. In order for us to be able to pick a coin here, I think they really, truly have to have an ecosystem, right? And they don't have to have one right now, but I would highly suggest you guys consider that every layer one you buy, for the sole intensive purpose of appreciating in price, has an ecosystem. So Mina recently, as a few months ago, launched their own token standard. And what this means in layman's terms is that now you're able to create applications on Mina, which you couldn't do before. So Mina literally couldn't have this. So what happened? Well, of course, people were buying, like myself, just based on the future idea of the coin, but now there's actual materialistic reason to actually go ahead and buy it, right? So we have a stronger community growing now because of utility, and that's all thanks to them allowing developers to create tokens. Now, I called this out on Casper with a K about 12 months ago from this point, and I said, look, there's some warnings I got with Casper. These guys are going to need to create a smart contract ecosystem. They didn't have one back then, and they had no plans to. I got really heavily criticized by Casper, its developers, and its community for even suggesting that Casper is not the silver to Bitcoin's gold like actually Litecoin is, and that they need to create a smart contract standard because of the layer 1 flywheel, like I mentioned here and showed this. Okay, and guess what? Now they have KRC20 tokens. Now they have smart contract tokens because even the stubborn developers at the time, no hate on Casper, it's just how it is, realized we need smart contracts to create the flywheel effect, to create a strong community. So that's a telltale sign for you guys. If it happened with Casper, had no intention to do this, all right, they're now pushing for that, even with the large cult that they had. What's that telling you? So look for projects like this. That's some of the most important things to consider. So with that being said, let me know what you guys think about my picks down below. And again, they're not just random picks, they're quality picks, they're unique picks in the correct narratives, I do believe, which will likely either pump next or they will definitely have large pumps at some point in this cycle regardless. I will talk to you soon. Take good care of yourself. Bye-bye.